There are generally 4 things that determine a Pokemon's competitive viability: typing, base stats, abilities, and move pool. If any of these 4 things are lacking, a Pokemon tends to struggle in being able to fill a role on a team. What all the Pokemon in this video are not lacking though is moves, so let's talk about the worst Pokemon competitively that have great move pools. I recently did the opposite of this video, the best Pokemon with bad move pools, which I recommend you check out. Like that video, I'll be discussing what moves each Pokemon gets and why they tend to struggle due to them lacking in the areas of typing, base stats, or abilities. All of these Pokemon are in Gen 9, so I will be referring to their learnable moves as of Scarlet and Violet. Starting off, we have Emboar, the fully evolved Gen 5 Fire starter, the 3rd Fire Fighting type starter in a row, as I'm sure many of you are aware. Starting off with its stab, Emboar has a lot of options in Gen 9, especially since it could go physical or special with both of its attacking stats being good. For fire, its best options are Flame Charge, Fire Punch, Flare Blitz, Heat Crash, Temper Flare, Heat Wave, Flamethrower, Fire Blast, and Overheat. For fighting, it gets Low Kick, Brick Break, Drain Punch, Body Press, Reversal, Close Combat, and Superpower. I'd probably say Flare Blitz and Close Combat are its best options if you just want damage, but it has so many moves to choose from in case you are interested in a lower base power move with a specific secondary effect. For coverage, Emboar gets Knock Off, Sucker Punch, Wild Charge, Trailblaze, Endeavor, Earthquake, Poison Jab, Zen Headbutt, Stone Edge, Iron Head, and Solar Beam. It even gets Scald, which is especially good since Scald's distribution was cut significantly, but Emboar was one of the lucky few that got to keep it. These coverage moves plus its stab cover a whopping 12 types. It has good status moves too, like Yawn, Roar, Helping Hand, Curse, Bulk Up, Will-O-Wisp, Coaching, Sunny Day, Scary Face, and Taunt. The issue with Emboar though mainly comes down to its stats, which are of the terrible slow mixed attacker archetype, something I mentioned in my The Worst Design Competitive Pokemon video. This kind of stat distribution is bad because it lacks speed and defenses and instead has those stats wasted and having both of its attacking stats being relatively high. Lacking speed and defenses means that you can't take hits very well, nor can you outspeed your opponents, so you have the worst of both worlds. Emboar's ability Reckless is also good, not great, as it increases the power of moves with recoil or crash damage by 20%. It can take advantage of this with Flare Blitz, Head Smash, and Wild Charge, but again, the stats just hold it back way too much. If its stats were more min-maxed, maybe say like this, it could actually be decent, but as they are now, it cannot take advantage of its good move pool. These days, it has just become completely outclassed by fire types like Ceruledge and Cinderace, and fighting types like Great Tusk and Okidogi. Next, we have Dudunsparce, the cross-generational evolution of Dunsparce. Dudunsparce is a normal type with access to the really good ability Serene Grace, which doubles the chance that a move's secondary effect will occur. It could also use Rattled, which raises speed when hit by a bug, ghost, or dark move, and when intimidated, which is more niche, but it is an option. For stab, Dudunsparce has plenty of options, since both of its attacking stats are usable. It has an insane 100 power, 100 accuracy signature move Hyper Drill that hits through Protect. It also gets Body Slam, Double Edge, Boom Burst, Headbutt, and Last Resort, all of which have their uses due to their power or secondary effect, which remember can have its chance doubled from Serene Grace. For coverage, let's start with its physical moves. It gets Lunge, Throat Chop, Breaking Swipe, Wild Charge, Body Press, Dual Wing Beat, Earthquake, Ice Spinner, Poison Jab, Zen Headbutt, Rock Slide, and Smart Strike. For special moves, it gets Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Air Slash, Shadow Ball, Solar Beam, Earth Power, Ice Beam, Stored Power, and Chilling Water. This means that Dudunsparce learns an attacking move for every type in the game except Fairy, unless you count Fairy Terra Blast, which in that case, it has every type covered. For status moves, it has Sunny Day, Rain Dance, Sandstorm, Tailwind, Stealth Rock, Amnesia, Calm Mind, Coil, Curse, Helping Hand, Pain Split, Roost, Yawn, Glare, Scary Face, and Screech. So why is it so bad? The stats. Dudunsparce doesn't excel enough in any one area to be good. Its bulk is good but not amazing, its attack and special attack are average, and its speed is just bad. It is outclassed by normal types like Mousehold, Ursaluna, Porygon 2, Indeedee, and Farigiraf. I really tried to make Dudunsparce work in early Scarlet and Violet VGC by using a Coil Rock Slide set on a Trick Room team to flinch opponents with the help of Serene Grace, but it just did no damage. But what can you expect from the evolution of the literal joke Pokemon? Next we have Goodra, the Gen 6 pseudo-legendary. Most dragon types tend to have good move pools, and Goodra is no exception to that. Both of its attacking stats are usable, but in practice, most people tend to use it specially, so I will mainly be focusing on special moves, with some physical moves here and there if they have a good secondary effect. For stab, it mainly uses Dragon Pulse and Draco Meteor, but could also use the physical Dragon Tail and Breaking Swipe for their secondary effects. For coverage, it gets Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Sludge Bomb, Acid Spray, Focus Blast, Scald, Weather Ball, and Knockoff. Status moves include Rain Dance, Sunny Day, Dragon Cheer, Charm, Toxic, Curse, Life Dew, and Acid Armor. The issue isn't Goodra's base stat total, but rather its base stat distribution. As a pseudo-legendary Pokemon, Goodra obviously has a high base stat total of 600, but a high base stat total means nothing by itself if those stats aren't distributed well. For Goodra, its stats are not nearly min-maxed enough for it to be good, and if its base stat total and individual base stat numbers remain the exact same but instead were rearranged like this, it would be a million times better. Like Emboar, it has good, not amazing ability options, Sap Sipper, Hydration, and Gooey, all of which are not enough to make its poor base stat distribution worth using. Mono Dragon also isn't ideal since it doesn't get an extra stab type, and it kinda got screwed over with being the only mono type pseudo-legendary. It got redeemed in its Hisuian form since it gained the Steel typing and has a much better base stat distribution, but regular Goodra doesn't offer anything that other dragon types these days don't, like Archaludon, Roaring Moon, Dragapult, and Raging Bolt. Next, we have Slaking. Slaking is a pure normal type that has an insane move pool. Starting with its stab, it mainly uses Body Slam, Double Edge, or Giga Impact, which are useful in different scenarios depending on what kind of team Slaking will be used on. For coverage, it gets X-Scissor, Knockoff, Outrage, the Elemental Punches, not Close Combat but a bunch of other good fighting moves, Aerial Ace, Shadow Claw, Seed Bomb, Earthquake, Poison Jab, Zen Headbutt, Rock Slide, Heavy Slam, and some more. For status moves, it gets Sunny Day, Rain Dance, Yawn, Taunt, Thunderwave, Bulk Up, Curse, Scary Face, Encore, Helping Hand, Roar, Amnesia, Slack Off, and Swagger. The reason it's so bad though is because, well, do I even need to say? Slaking has legendary stats but has the single worst ability in the game. Truant makes it so that Slaking can only attack every other turn. This makes it essentially unusable in competitive singles, and pretty much any strategy that attempts to make this Pokemon usable in doubles involves changing or nullifying its ability somehow. For example, Weezing's Neutralizing Gas is the anti-ability ability, so it turns off all other abilities on the field. So if you send in a Weezing and Slaking at the same time in a double battle, Slaking will have no ability. There's also Grafaiai with its signature move Doodle that changes the ability of the user and the user's allies to that of the target, which is another way that Slaking can get rid of Truant. I think you get the idea though. Truant makes Slaking's great move pool essentially useless. Like Dudunsparce, it's not good enough to ever want to be used over those other normal types. Next, we have Chimecho. Chimecho is a pure Psychic type with the ability Levitate, one of about 15 Psychic types with the ability Levitate. It has great stab options, getting all the good special attacking Psychic type moves like Psychic, Expanding Force, Psyshock, Stored Power, and Psychic Noise. Its coverage options are decent too, since it gets Knockoff, Energy Ball, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam, Snarl, Icy Wind, and Charge Beam. Where it really thrives though is in its supporting move pool. All of the following status moves have a decent use case on one team or another. Charm, Calm Mind, Cosmic Power, Fake Tears, Healing Wish, Sunny Day, Rain Dance, Light Screen, Reflect, Thunderwave, Taunt, Imprison, Skill Swap, Trick, Encore, Helping Hand, Trick Room, Gravity, Psych Up, Ally Switch, Disable, Recover, Recycle, Wish, Hypnosis, Entrainment, Yawn, Heal Bell, Heal Pulse, and Safeguard. That is a lot of moves. The reason it's so bad though is, you guessed it, the stats. Chimecho originally had a base stat total of 425, and even after getting 10 more HP, 10 more defense, and 10 more special defense for a base stat total of 455, it still sucks. It is pretty much completely outclassed by Cresselia, another levitating psychic type with strictly better defensive stats. While Chimecho does get like a bajillion support moves, you can only ever use 4 of them on a given moveset, 3 since you generally want at least 1 attacking move in case you get taunted. Because of that, there's really nothing that Chimecho does that would make you want to use it over Cresselia, or really any good supporting mon like a Mungus, Bronzong, or Whimsicott. Pure Psychic as a defensive typing is also not great since it makes you weak to Knock Off and U-Turn, 2 of some of the most commonly used moves in the competitive scene. Cresselia is bulky enough to get away with that, while the same cannot be said about Chimecho. Lastly, we have Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff was originally a pure normal type before the fairy type was added in Gen 6, where it had fairy added to its existing normal typing. A lot of Gen 1 normal types were given wide move pools, but Wigglytuff sticks out as being especially good in Gen 9. It generally wants to function as a special attacker, and its best stab options are probably Hyper Voice and Dazzling Gleam. For coverage, it gets Dark Pulse, Thunderbolt, Focus Blast, Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, Ice Beam, Psychic, and Water Pulse. Like Chimecho, its supporting move pool is really where it shines. We got Fake Tears, Taunt, Nasty Plot, Thunder Wave, Misty Terrain, Sunny Day, Sandstorm, Rain Dance, Encore, Helping Hand, Pain Split, Psych Up, Reflect, Light Screen, Skill Swap, Amnesia, Calm Mind, Gravity, Disable, Charm, Stockpile, Sing, Heal Pulse, Perish Song, and Wish. At this point, you know the drill, something something, it has terrible stats. Like Chimecho, it was also given a base stat buff, but it was just 10 more special attack, going from a 425 to a 435 base stat total. Its abilities unfortunately can't save it, with Frisk and Cute Charm being borderline useless, and Competitive being good, but not good enough to make it viable. Maybe if Wigglytuff kept Jigglypuff's Friend Guard, it could thrive in doubles since it gets so many good supporting moves, but no, Wigglytuff sucks. If you're looking for a fairy type, you'd use Iron Valiant, Hatterene, Tinkaton, Enamorus, Primarina, or Pheasantipede before ever using Wigglytuff. If you're looking for a competitive user, you would use Milotic, Empoleon, or Galarian Articuno before ever using Wigglytuff. And those are just some of the worst Pokemon competitively with great move pools. Huge thanks to everyone who dropped suggestions in the comments from the bad move pools video, since I use a lot of those suggestions here. I still definitely left some out, since I kinda felt that it was getting pretty repetitive with me saying that they have a bunch of moves but terrible stats for almost every entry. I'd be interested to hear though if there were any big ones that I missed that are still worth mentioning. Anyway, if you want to support me and my channel, the best way to do so is just by leaving a nice comment. I do read all comments and will try my best to respond to as many as I can. You can also click the join button and become a member, and I made the cost as low as possible at 99 cents USD. Members get a badge next to their name and 4-day early video release access. Keep in mind that these videos will be releasing on my normal schedule of 10 AM EST for non-members, so please don't feel obligated at all to join unless you really want to support me and you are financially capable of doing so. Huge thanks to all my members. I really appreciate your continued support for the channel. Likes are also one of the ways that YouTube determines if a video should be passed around to more people, so if you feel that this video deserves to be, I would appreciate it. Thanks for watching.